Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Amy and today I wanted to carry on with my little deep dive through the foundational parts of positive psychology. Now, last week I covered my very brief introduction to positive psychology. The reason I say very brief is because positive psychology is an entire field of psychology. It's practically a whole segment of science, and a 20-minute video is not something that's going to do it justice. I literally just wanted to cover the very, very bare bones of a few of the things that you may have found if you typed it into Google or another search engine of your choice. It really was the very, very bare basics. However, in that video, as well as in some of my previous Plan With Me's, you may have been hearing me talk about specific models or theories, namely the PERMA model. And in this video, it's going to be a very short and sweet introduction to what the PERMA model is. This actually is going to be the introductory video to, again, a short but sweet series consisting of 6 videos. This one will be the introduction, and I'll have 5 following videos which will cover each topic individually. So before I get started, let's go back to the beginning. If you watched my last video, you would remember that I mentioned how positive psychology is relatively new in science. It was only officially founded in 1998 by Martin Seligman when he was appointed to be the new president of the APA, which is the American Psychological Association. However, it wasn't until 2011 when he created or founded this new model, this new theory of well-being called the PERMA model. Now, PERMA actually stands for 5 topics or areas that he thinks are pretty essential for us to be able to find some degree of satisfaction in our lives, something that can help us boost our own well-being and, find happiness. And of course, once we found it in ourselves, we can then spread it with the rest of our community and benefit other people. So PERMA stands for P, which is positive emotion, E, which is engagement and highly linked to the concept of flow, R, which is relationships, especially positive relationships, M, which is meaning. Sometimes meaning is also known as purpose in life, and then finally as A. Now, most of the time you will see A as accomplishment, however other times it may be labelled as achievement, but basically this just means your mastery, your competence, your ability to get things done that you have set out to do. So your goals, your to-do lists, things like that. So I am going to be covering each one of those separately in their own dedicated video. I will be doing a little more discussion as to what that is and how that affects our lives. I'll be giving some examples as well of activities that you can do to boost this area if you feel like you're lacking in it. And I'll lastly be showing you different ways on how you can track these areas. You all know by now that I am a big planner fan, and I do believe that planning or journaling can be great ways to track things like the PERMA model. So, nevertheless, they are the 5 different areas that Martin really believes is a part of who we are and what makes us happy. Across my reading and studies on the internet, I actually found a study from 2017. Now, please forgive me, I'm not going to try and pronounce all the authors' names. I'm pretty terrible at pronunciation of names, so I am going to just, in fact, leave the names of the authors down below in the comments because I know I'm going to butcher them badly. But anyway, there is a study done in 2017 which set out to find the relationship between this PERMA model of well-being and the SWE. The SWB stands for the subjective well-being. Now, the reason why it's called that is because happiness is subjective. How we rate our own subjective well-being is completely different to how someone else would rate their own happiness, their own well-being. Something that makes us super, super happy may bore the bones out of someone else. So it is very important to remember that when it comes to measurability of things that include our emotions, then yes, it is subjective and these scores will differ from different people. Nevertheless, it is always interesting to see how one thing can affect another, and that is what this study set out to do. For those who are good at statistics and correlation, this next section is for you. So this study found that the correlation between acting upon the PERMA model and the subjective well-being, the correlation score was 0.98. Basically, the correlation works on a scale of -1 to 1. -1 is a positive negative correlation. 0 is completely neutral, so factor A doesn't have any effect on factor B. There's just completely nothing there. And then +1 is a perfect positive relationship. As you can imagine, a score of 0.98 is incredibly high. And it actually took my breath away when I read this study, because I was like, something that high actually exists, and it exists in positive psychology? That is amazing. And when I was reading that, and I was reading Martin's own journal about it afterwards, he was commenting on what the study found and what he agreed with, what he didn't agree with. Even he said that it confirmed a lot of what he believed in. He was just in a way too afraid to admit it. So this study did wonders in the positive psychology community. And what I have taken from it is that it provides a lot of hope that positive psychology works. And I mean, I knew this before I started really delving into it. Of course, I followed this because I believed in it. But I do understand that there are a lot of people out there who don't like to try things unless they've seen it. They don't believe in it unless they've seen it. And this study pretty much proves a whole lot. Now, I can't really say the word prove. Prove is not really a word that we use in psychology, but it does suggest a very high relationship between acting on those 5 topics and our well-being. Essentially, what it means is if we actively engage with all 5 of those traits, all 5 of those areas in our lives, then there is a good chance that we may see some positive benefit in ourselves and hopefully within the wider community. So if we're actively engaging in trying to find things that make us feel more positive, engaging in material fully and taking our time, finding our good relationships and interacting with people that boost us rather than bring us down, when we act on things that give us meaning and things that we feel called to do, as well as feeling a good sense of achievement, then that score pretty much represents that at the end of all of that, we have a good chance of feeling happier, of boosting our well-being, and then the cycle continues. Once we then feel happier, we are then more likely to go back to that PERMA model and carry on boosting those things, carry on working on that, mastering even more, and hopefully making the world a much better place. So I was really, really incredibly intrigued and astonished by that score, and I hope that you are too. It's pretty rare to have such a high correlation, especially in a relatively new field as well, so that's pretty outstanding. As I said, this is going to be a very short and sweet video. I just wanted to lay out what PERMA was, and I just wanted to share a quick study with you to show actually this could be very, very beneficial, and is the reason why I really want to focus on working with the PERMA model in my own life and how I will be using it with other people, hopefully for many years to come. If you like this video, don't forget to check back every week for the next 5 weeks. I will be breaking down each of these one by one, talking about what it really means, what activities we can do to boost it, and how we can keep track on ourselves and making sure that we're really achieving everything that we want to. Don't forget to like and comment on this video if you found it interesting, and if you'd like to know more, then please hit the subscribe button. But until next time, bye guys.